Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make improvements in your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon, presented by 17 Hats. Hello and welcome to this episode. Today is an interview with my friend Ifrah from Wowlloons, and she has had a tremendous impact on my business, specifically my branding and my website over the past few months. And if you are a member of the Patreon group and you get the bonus episodes, or if you've subscribed on Apple, you would have heard me talk all about this process. It went from a photo shoot to a rebrand to a full website update. And that all started because I was looking at the Wowlloons website and so impressed, and it was so easy and so clean, and the branding was just spot on. So I knew that I had to have Ifrah on the episode to talk about her photo shoots in general, her step-by-steps of like what she thinks about when she plans an over-the-top photo shoot, how she has streamlined her business and gotten her customers to order what she wants them to order. It's just a really great interview. She's so smart and so savvy, and it was so fun catching up. So we will get into the interview right after we head over to the UGlu Hotline for some great advice that sticks. Welcome to the UGlu Hotline, where we discuss great advice that sticks. Brought to you by ProTapes. If you have a question or some great advice to share, click the link in the show notes to call in and leave a voicemail.
Hi there, my name is Cheyenne Santos. I own MKY Balloon Co. located in Murray, Kentucky. And my biggest piece of advice to any, kind of balloon companies out there right now is to interact with your local businesses. I recently booked a chicken salad chicken grand opening balloons, mainly just based off of the sheer fact that I was interacting with their posts, that they were coming to Murray, and that I was so excited to have them there. And because they saw my engagement with them, they decided to book with me for their grand opening balloons. I tried to interact with a lot of different local businesses, whether that's just liking, commenting on their social medias, and I've gotten, a lot of bookings that way because people will see you be active, and you're also building that local community that will end up supporting you while you support them as well.
ProTapes is a leading manufacturer of specialty tape products like ProGaff, Pro Artist Tape, and our favorite balloon tape, UGlu, which helps you create amazing balloon arrangements and decorations in less time. You can save 5% on UGlu when you buy directly from Havin A Party using code BRIGHT at checkout. All right, welcome to this episode, Ifrah from Wowlloons. I have been so excited to chat with you because you have been I want to say, a source of inspiration, but you were like the inspiration for updating my website, which snowballed into like a full rebrand, photo shoot, everything. So thanks for coming on. And that's what we're going to chat about today is branding and photo shoots, something that is very clear on your website and in your marketing. But before we get into those details, give us an introduction of who you are.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. So I am Ifrah. I own Wowlloons, which is located in Massachusetts. We serve all of Massachusetts and then parts of Rhode Island and New Hampshire. So 3 states, just because they're so small and so close to each other. And from balloons to backdrops to other things, we're trying to make our store a one-stop shop. And we're just located a little bit on the south of Boston, but very close.
And how many years have you been doing balloons?
I started April of 2021, so I'm a COVID business as well. Just bloomed in COVID, which was just supposed to be a side hustle because I'm a workaholic, I can't be free. And next thing you know, I had a booming business and I was quitting my full time because I just couldn't manage both of the things together.
Well, and what was your full-time job?
I am a behavior analyst. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, I worked as a behavior therapist for the longest time, did my master's, got my license as a behavior analyst. And both my kiddos are on the spectrum. So that's what drove me into the field. And I just loved doing it. It was hard to let go.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. That's a little bit different. Like I had a desk job and I was, it was in the arts. So I was a little bit passionate about that, but it wasn't something where I had tons of education and practice. I mean, like you were doing something that I would consider, pretty meaningful, pretty impactful. I would imagine that it was a struggle to leave.
It was definitely hard to let go. I mean, I feel like a part of me still belongs there because
Yes.
it's a cause so close to my heart. And I do plan on going back for my PhD. I'm just like kind of giving myself some time so the business is established enough where I can kind of pull back a little bit and focus on that. But I don't think I've said bye to it completely. But for now, I know the business needs me and it needs my full attention. And I can't multitask and grow together at both times.
Yeah.
I was working.
It's strange because I was a teacher
Mhm.
and I still identify so much with that. Cause like I only taught for 4 years and I've been doing balloons for 10. So it's like I should identify way less with being a teacher, but I still feel like those are my people. Like I still feel like, oh, I used to be one of you. It is really strange. It's almost like sometimes I have to like justify like, oh, well, I used to have an actual job, even though like this is my actual job and I make way more money doing this than I ever did teaching. But it is weird, kind of that I don't know, not stigma, but just like feeling that this doesn't count. I don't know if you experience that ever. Like balloons aren't
So
real and like an
all the
actual
time.
job is more respected.
All the time, all the time. It's actually just as I walked in this morning, I just have remembered. So my studio is about 3,000 square feet. It's huge. And I remember when I was looking for the space, I went through four realtors because all the four realtors just said, "Oh, you do balloons. Oh,
Yeah.
our client hires big people." I'm like, what does that mean? It's like I
Yeah.
read stuff like that. So yeah, I get it. And I feel like again, I come from Pakistan, which is there it's a joke that unless you're a doctor or an engineer, you're a failure.
Okay.
Like you need to be one of those jobs. And so when I'm talking to the adults who don't understand what I do, it's like, oh, you do balloons? It's like, yeah, I'm a behavior analyst as well. I just love doing balloons. So I do events. That's how I
Yeah.
describe myself because it's hard. I get it. It's completely hard to kind of identify yourself. Hey, what do you do? You're the balloon girl, you're the balloon woman, you're the balloon lady. That's
Right.
what you're identified as.
Yeah. You're like with a master's degree.
Mhm. Honey, the balloon lady is here.
Yeah, yeah, no. Oh, I totally relate. But you're obviously killing it in balloons. We met very briefly at Float, and I knew of you. I wasn't as familiar with your business. And then I don't know how I ended up on your website, but I was like, this is what I need. And I liked my website, but yours was like, it was very clear and it was fun and bright, but still minimal, if that makes sense. Like it wasn't over the top. Like I wasn't overwhelmed. And I started looking at yours like a weirdo. Like I was obsessed. You probably get like 500 hits a day and it was all from me. I just kept studying how you had everything set up and it was so clear and it was so clean. Which led to me wanting to redo my website, but also led to me doing like photo shoots, which is something you do often and you have just recently done. So let's take a quick break. And then I want to hear about the details of setting up a photo shoot for like you as the artist being featured versus your products being featured. So we'll get to that right after the break. Are you ready to take your balloon business to the next level? Look no further than Havin A Party Wholesale, your ultimate destination for all things balloons. Havin A Party Wholesale is on the cutting edge of new products that will wow your clients, from top brands like Tuftex, Jamar, Anagram, Ellie's, Sempertex, PremiumConwin, and introducing Brookloon, a new balloon line created by the Havin A Party family. They've got the widest selection to fuel your creativity. Join the successful league of professional balloon artists who shop at havinaparty.com. All right, welcome back. Photo shoots. I've done a couple. My recent one, I took photos on my iPhone. Like it was fine, but it was never like this true production. Like I see what you're doing on Instagram. Talk about your most recent one that you just did. I saw it post like a couple days ago and you looked beautiful and you had all the balloons. Talk about that and what the purpose was and then a little bit of behind the scenes.
So I love doing photo shoots. I love doing photo shoots, and I think that's the best, one of the best parts of my business. This year I kind of made it a goal that I'm going to start doing them quarterly. Normally I would do them once or twice a year. This year it's quarterly, just so I have content for the quarter ready to go. Um, I have been very inspired by Villa the Boom. Is that
Oh
how you?
yes, the
Yes,
girl in
the
Russia with the
Russian girl.
like
Yes.
massive
And
helium
I have
bouquets.
been wanting to do a shoot like that forever, but then the helium prices in the US are just insane.
Yeah.
I just didn't think I never had the heart to do it until finally I was like, I'm doing it. Let's just do it. So I work with a photographer who's now become a very near and dear friend of mine. And all I had in my mind was like, I'm holding those balloons. I need a poofy dress and I need the skyline of Boston behind me because I have done other things. And normally, the way I plan my photo shoot is clients, I mean, you'll understand this too. Clients aren't like clients are visual people. They're not as usually our clients aren't as creative. And you need to, it's our job to show them what you can do with the balloons. I mean, just look at the squares that Tiffany came out with. You can do so much. So like Tuftex and Tiffany, like so much with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had secured one job when I was at the Tuftex experience, and after that I never made that tunnel. And I was like, this is not okay. I need to post. So the way I do it is just around that time, I made the disco wall as well that Melody had.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, this is I'm going to call it the Silver Series. And I showcased all of the things that I wanted the clients to see. Now you're getting professional pictures, you're getting professional pictures of you that you can use, but at the same time, you're getting good product pictures as well. And
Yeah.
that's what you push out in public. I have secured so many orders for the disco ball wall, as well as so many orders for those tunnels just by those sending those pictures over there.
Yeah.
So I feel I treat it as a style shoot as well as a personal like branding shoot, and you do whatever. Same goes for the helium balloons. They look so gorgeous. They look beautiful. My main service area is Boston, so that's where the idea came out. I was like, I want the skyline of Boston behind me, and that was hard to find. Like it was just like we were ready to get yelled at by the cops being on the main highway, other area, but you just gotta be dedicated. Or getting on top of that man
Yeah.
in the dress. Um, I need to. I'll just send you the behind the scenes someday. It was just like me screaming on a ladder that I'm about to fall. It was windy because it was right by the sea.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was rough, but it was just so much fun. And it inspired, like I have had two people reach out and hey, we want to do something like this. What can we do? So
Yeah.
again, it's it's 40 jumbo balloons. It's a lot of it's a lot of helium. It's very expensive, but then when we're selling it, it's almost thrice the price.
Yeah.
It does make a good chunk of income back. So I feel like when you're investing in a brand shoot, think of it this way that it's going to come back to you. You're going to make a profit on it because that's content that you can push out, and that's pictures that are not taken from your iPhone, pictures not taken by just an average person. They're pictures that are being taken by a photographer.
Yeah. And I think it's key too what you said. You're taking pictures of things you want to sell. Like you're not just like, oh well, I gotta get photos, so I'll just make an art real quick and be done with it. Or um, something so over the top that like you couldn't possibly sell it, like a sculpture or like something super distorted or what like it's a good mix of like it's a reach, it's like a push goal almost. It's like a little bit out of reach for the average client, but it's going to help you secure those biggies. I think that's really, really smart and something that I haven't actually done. I feel like most of the styled shoots that I have been part of, I've first of all been invited to, which is probably the first problem. And they have already kind of set the mood board, and then the balloons are just kind of like an accent. So I've had okay luck. Like I've gotten some good photos, but I haven't done what you said, which is like really set it up to hit those 3 points. You want it to be something sellable. You want it to showcase you as the artist, and you want it to be something that you get the content, right? That was the
Yeah.
third thing.
You get so much. I actually just had Kelsey reach out to me yesterday. She's like, hey, can you send me pictures of that photo shoot? Because I have a client who's interested. Now, it's hard to do the amount of balloons the girl in Russia does. It's just, they're so amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't know how she walks with them. I
I
had
know.
four.
I want to know her behind the scenes. I sent her a message to see if she would come on the podcast, but she didn't respond. I don't think I don't know. I don't know if she got it because she has so many people
Yeah.
probably messaging her. But yeah, it's
It's
amazing.
I just kept thinking I had 40 balloons and mind you, 10 out of the 40 popped. So I had
Okay.
30. And with those 30 balloons, I was flying. Like it was hard for me to walk. It was hard for me to do anything. And behind the scenes, like you see the photographer tell me run with those balloons. I'm like, how? I
Right.
can't do it. It's just but it was just so much fun. And again, the content that you get out of it, it's not just you have to think of it this way, like go into the photo shoot or go into even a job just already with something in mind that okay, this is I can do this with this, I can do a before and after, I can do while I'm making something, I can focus. Just yesterday I had a refresh, so I took a picked video of the balloons that were really old, a week old, and then I took a video of what it looked like afterwards because that's what people don't know that. They need to be
Hmm.
educated on that, especially if you have corporate clients. They want those refreshes versus new installs because it does save them a good chunk of money.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's take a quick break and then I want to talk about product photo shoots and probably the difference and how you set those up as well.
Hi, I'm Jeff from Balloon Suite, and I get a lot of questions about how to price product, where to order product, where to get those balloons, where to get the supplies you need, and then how to manage your inventory in an easy way that isn't complicated, but also doesn't require some expensive tool or extra time every week. If you're looking for strategies to improve your business and how it operates, we've got those strategies for you over at balloonsuite.com. Check out the blog, get the value, get the business value from us. We work with hundreds of balloon decor companies, and so we know what it is you're facing. And I would love for you to get the benefit of that expertise and to check out the packages we offer to help you grow sales and get your marketing done.
All right, welcome back. So we've talked about what I would call kind of like a branding shoot, like a styled shoot. You're in it. And we didn't talk about that, but I do think some people shy away from being in the photos. I think that's so important. One of the things that I took from your website is that front and center on the first page is the about me section. Like the first thing you see is you and it's information about you. And mine was kind of buried in the past. It was like, oh, no one really cares. And I've had two people in the last month since updating my website like call me and be like, I love your story. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, my story isn't even interesting, but like people are going out of their way to like they're seeing it more and they feel like they're connecting with me. So that I think is a good point is to put yourself front and center as the owner. But you also do product photos, which I have waited 10 years to do. And it's been the best thing I've ever done in my business. I'm so mad that I waited so long. I had a good gallery, but it was like, an arch from a football game and a column from a prom and you know, it was like a mishmash of everything. But now I have these really nice curated photos and you've done something similar.
Yeah.
So how does someone go about doing that?
Yeah. So the way I did it, it took me a year to make that website. And honestly, when you messaged me, it meant so much. I was like, oh my God, such a full circle moment because my original website was based off of you.
That's so
So
funny.
it made me, I was like, okay, I've done something right. This is great. I do take a lot of advice from you, something that you once said, that a picture didn't happen, right? So it's like what I remember you saying it in one of your podcasts, and that's so true. So as far as the product shoots go, I did it in three chunks. The first one was specifically garlands because those are my main grab and go product, and anybody who picks it up usually is a garland. And I made it in a couple of popular themes. So I made that garland in a couple of popular themes that I noticed there's a trend of people going around and purchasing. Took pictures of that. I put some furniture around it as well, just to give people an idea of what the product looks like around the furniture. I've seen a lot of people, sometimes they do mock-ups around doors, other things. I just put a chair next to it to give a size
That's what
variation.
I did. I just wanted some sort of scale.
Yeah. And then the second part was helium. I do a lot of helium, and again, helium is expensive, so I just pretty much waited and picked different clients to got their permission if their kids were in it, and just named those bundles and went from there. The way I named the bundles was actually one of your podcasts, and just to keep it simple, I just named them Rookie, MVP, All Star,
Oh,
instead of just
cute, cute.
this is going to include this many things. Again, I want the flexibility that if I don't have a Spider-Man balloon available, I can just make a jumbo with Spider-Man on it or Spider-Man
Yeah.
on it. So I first was planning on telling everybody what it includes, but now it was just it's a random, this is how big it is, show them a scale and did that. Other photos were just I keep adding as the orders come in. We've sold a lot of rainbows, so I'm going to add one of the rainbows over there.
Mm,
Um, I have a job tomorrow that's using an octopus, and once Melody's octopus went viral, every client was sending me that picture. So I'm doing that octopus, so that's going to go on the website. So you don't necessarily need to do product shoots every single time. Get the main products out there, which were the garlands and the helium. I knew that some of the products that sell and I needed professional pictures for. Everything else is on a white wall with either my cell phone camera or my um, digital camera. That's it.
yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
I love it. And the other thing that I liked from I liked from your website was that it wasn't like over the top. Like I think I actually streamlined my website based on yours because I had a lot of different I don't know, albums sounds so old school, but like galleries. I wanted to show like corporate events versus school events versus blah, blah, blah. And I had all these things. I actually eliminated like 5 or 6 pages, which I don't know, from an SEO standpoint, maybe isn't great. But I just streamlined it now. I just have like a gallery of like a lot of things. Like it's just and really I'm just trying to show people that like I'm good at what I do and it looks good and they can trust me instead of trying to show them like here's 8 arches, here's 8 column. Like it's more like they're just going to trust the quality instead of having to see individual images. So, and I also have like my Instagram feed in there, which is more, the updated stuff. So I think it took the pressure off of having to have like everything on the website. And it's actually like streamlined. I think it's eliminated people who are like, I want that one thing that you made 8 years ago, one time that I saw in this one picture. It's just like, how did you even find that? Now it's just they're finding the stuff I want them to buy by having less on there.
Yeah. I mean, again, yes, from an SEO standpoint, it's not ideal because you
Hmm.
want to have those words over there. But at the same time, when I was making my website, there were so many revisions, right? So I worked with Misty from the Font Party, and there were so many revisions. And the reason we did those revisions was I kept going to the lame, like just to my friends, my family, people who don't know balloons. I'm like,
Right.
okay, you're going on my website and you're looking to purchase something. How are you doing it? And that's how I came up with the words because I needed people to understand. If somebody doesn't understand what a grab and go means, it serves me no purpose. So
Right.
I wanted it to be very simple where people know what they want, like your social media or your website is the first landing area where somebody gets to know about you, the company, and whether they like your work or not. That's all you need to showcase who you are and what your company does, and this is the level of quality of my work. Everything else happens once they put in an inquiry form because then we have albums and albums of photos that we're sharing. Oh, it's 4th of July is coming up. We need a patriotic arch. Okay, great. Here are the options. What would you like?
Right.
It's more, I feel like I have those albums too, but they're on the back end and
Hmm.
they go to the clients when they have put an inquiry form in and I know what they're looking for, so I can kind of streamline. Okay, if somebody's budget is $1,000, I'm not going to send them an arch that's going to cost them 2, 3 grand just because it's helium and other things in it. So I will just specifically send them arches that fall under that budget. This is what it is with delivery and everything. And what would you like?
Yeah.
Streamlines my process as well as makes it easier on the eyes
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
people who are on my website.
Well, and I know you're a 17 hats user, correct?
I just started.
Oh,
So
really?
I had no CRM system. We would manually update the Google Calendar and do all of that. And at this point, I needed more things that were automated because I was losing it.
Right, right.
So I had my customer service rep who worked with me for the longest time and just left, and that's what caused me to go to a CR because he had a handle on everything. But once he left, I was left working on other things as well as the customer service, invoicing other parts of it
Yeah.
in my mind. So that's when Deborah from Balloon Man Go introduced me to Nicole from Let
Oh,
Nicole.
good. Yeah,
And
yeah.
we've just been working together, and I'm super excited.
It's a long process. And then, but you also have, the reason I ask is because you also have more of like an e-commerce type of
Mhm,
option on your website. So that's not 17 hats.
mhm.
What are you using for that? Or are you
Square.
still figuring it out?
Square. So I
Square.
use Square for invoicing, and I use Square for the e-commerce as well. I tried my hand at Shopify. It was way too complicated. So
Okay.
since I was already invoicing with Square, I just kept it simple.
And do you feel like your clients are utilizing that? Do you have people just going and buying without talking to you?
Yes, it's so good.
Oh,
It's
nice.
it's life changing. It's like ever since I when I see an order come in and I know I haven't spent 30 minutes on the phone or back and forth on emails, that just makes me really happy. I'm trying to push out grab and go more. The area where I live, I've noticed I don't have the clientele that will spend thousands of dollars on balloons. So I'm
Okay.
trying to push out the grab and go more in my area because it's easier. You come pick it up. Um, and just this year, actually just did the numbers last week, and we're I feel like my custom orders are more geared toward corporate clients, and I have more corporate clients this year than I have private. The privates are usually either grab and goes or just some of my old private clients that show up.
Yeah, my grab and go, I only do garlands with a pickup. And they're pretty good, especially now. Like mentally, I was just tapped, and I have a baby. I'm like, this summer is just hard. So June and July are pretty much full. Like weekends are full. I don't want to fill up every single day of the month. So I'm really just kind of pushing people off and being like, I'm booked, but here's this option. And we're starting to have like 6, 7 grab and go pickups a weekend. I'm like, that's $700 that I was going to turn away. Like I remember when I started, if I had made $700 a month, I would have been happy. So the fact that that like feels pretty passive is nice. I'm looking at your website now. Um, so the garland, let's see, helium bundles. Like, do people just go and buy those?
Yeah.
That's amazing. These look so cute.
And sometimes like people will it also helps me because sometimes it's a client who wants delivery, right? But they're just like, I don't want to spend too much money. And the grab and go section are my lower priced items. So that's where like my MVP bouquet is very popular. It just goes
Okay,
up like this, but it doesn't fit in everybody's car. Like it'll fit in an SUV, but it won't fit in a sedan.
gotcha.
And that's where the clients are like, hey, what can I get? So that's where I don't have to send them options. I don't have to go fishing for pictures. I just link the grab and go section. I'm like, take a look. What do you want? And we'll just deliver it to
So
you.
this MVP bouquet, you have it for 450,
Mhm.
and it's what, 5 jumbos and then some little fillers, or do you just kind of
It
do what you
varies.
want?
It varies. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
big. It's really
It's
big.
big.
Cool. So this is a good, I mean, this is kind of a good workaround. I think that's one of the things that people wish 17 Hats had. And this is not like a 17 Hats commercial or anything, but I struggle with this too. Like it's almost like if Square and 17 Hats could have a little baby and we could have just some e-commerce options. Um, but it's nice that you can do this. You have both and it's working well.
Yeah. No,
Very
it's
cool.
working well. It's doing well. It's helped me. It's saved me so much time. And again, time is money. You've got to save your time wherever you can.
Yeah.
And it has saved me so much time because now I have options that I can just send the client to the clients. And usually when an inquiry comes in, you can tell which client you can persuade to like an upsell to, which client is just stuck on a budget, and which client is going to spend.
Yeah.
So the ones that I can normally persuade a little bit, I'll like talk to them. The ones I can, I'm like, hey, here's our grab and go. Just go
Yeah. Yeah.
there. Yeah.
You know what? Another thing too, just a quick tip I'm going to throw in here.
Mhm.
When I did my whole website update, I did also update my lead form in 17 Hats. And now I have a thing that says like, what are you most interested in? And it used to be like arches, columns, garlands, and they would just click all over the place and they didn't even know. So I eliminated that question. And now I have, what are you most interested in? A grab and go option starting at 100, something off the menu for like a $400 minimum, or something custom with a minimum of $1,000. And hardly anyone picks the $1,000 one, which I think tells them like you have to pick off of this menu. You're like you can't send me whatever you want. Like it's one of these things. But the other thing that's interesting is a lot of people check the grab and go box option. And it's like they just never found that part of the website. So they submit the form, they say they want a grab and go garland, and then I'm able to just reroute them to basically check out themselves. Um, Because sometimes people just don't see it, they have no idea. They go straight to the form and they have like $100 budget. And you don't know that until you've like designed an entire event for them. And you're like, oh, shoot, I wish I had known your budget up front. So having those prices and those options listed has really helped me.
The grab and go, actually, funny that you say that, because I noticed on another person's website, they have the grab and go's names as pickup balloons, and the other part is on-site installation, which I was talking to my husband. He says, well, it makes sense because
Yeah.
everybody resonates with what grab and go means. Right. So it's like most of the people do, but there are also people who won't know. He's like, imagine if an 80-year-old lady who doesn't know how to navigate and the internet is looking for something, right? And there's a lot of grandmas looking for their balloons for their grandkids' birthday parties and other things. How
Yeah.
are they gonna know? But if they see pickup balloons, they're gonna know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree.
I just struggle with changing the name grab and go because I think it aesthetically just looks really nice on the website. So I just don't want it to be long and say pickup
I
installation.
think I might have that in my description, like grab and go garlands, like our pickup option or something like that. But yeah, true. Just like there is something to be
Instantly get
said
started.
instead of being cutesy, just being like super to the point.
Mhm.
I know Denise Duffield Thomas, who I love, she always says like she gets frustrated when people have like cutesy things on their buy now buttons. It'll be like, click here to learn more, or like click here to get the party started, or click here. She's like, it should say click here to buy here. Like be very clear of like how people can give you money and purchase. So I think that's interesting as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that's what I based my whole website on, and keeping it as simple as possible, because I wanted to make sure that when people are landing there, they're seeing my work, they're seeing who's there, because I would rarely show my face. The reason you didn't know what my company was and barely knew who I was at Float was because I barely showed my face online. It wasn't until the Tough Text experience that I finally started showing it, and after Float, I started showing it even more, because a couple of my friends, I made some really great friends over there, right? And Lola from Tangled Balloons, one of them, and she's like, gotta put your name on there. Nobody, like, people knew who you were, what your company was, but they didn't know your name until
Yeah.
I showed them everything. So it's just, I started showing my face on more. And at this point, I'm starting to get comfortable where, regardless of how I look, I'm just gonna show up over there because nobody's judging anybody.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know what? I laugh with my clients that you see the glamorous side of me on all those photo shoots. I'm glammed up, taking these extravagant photos, and then there's the homeless part of me that you see when I'm showing up to your job, because I'm just trying to get done with this day and all the jobs.
Well, I've been trying to be better on Instagram, like just show up more, and I have things to say, I have things I want to show. And the number one reason why I don't is because like I'm not wearing makeup, or I'm, like you said, dressed like a homeless person. I have baby spit up on my clothes. And every time I actually just am like, whatever, and I just film a video with like no makeup, no one has ever been like, oh, if only you weren't so ugly, we'd listen.
So I'm gonna give you feedback. I've never thought that. I think you look great. I think
Well, thank
it's
you.
us who are our worst critic.
100%.
Pick on every little thing. I mean, I just jumped on this podcast just and 5 minutes before that, I had just walked in from a job installation. I was like, you know what? This is what I look like.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and the celebrity comparison, I am less likely to watch something that Kim Kardashian is doing if she's like in full glam going to like the Golden Globes. I like to see when she has no makeup on and she's
Mhm.
in her house and doing things behind the scenes. So, I'll just be like Kim and not wear makeup.
No, it's a complete joke. Like most of my clients, my private clients, when I show up, I'm like, well, today you get the homeless version of me. It's just like I'll just laugh about it because I do. It's when you're going from a job to job to job. It's just
Oh, and in the summer too, I was like dripping sweat the other day. I had like, it was like tears of mascara. I was like, I looked so
isn't it
bad.
excellent that when you're in that condition and then a client wants to give you a hug, it's like, I stink.
I
Please
know.
don't.
I'm like, oh, please don't. Okay, let's take another break and then let's talk about what to do with all these photos. You mentioned a couple things, but you talked about loving to have like your content for the quarter, and that piqued my interest. So I want to chat about that. Hey, listeners, before we wrap up today's episode, let's talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Balloon Guild. Do you ever see amazing balloon decor online and wonder, how did they make that? The Balloon Guild is revolutionizing the industry by standardizing recipes, SOPs, and offering unparalleled training. Their mission? To elevate balloon artists worldwide, ensuring efficiency, profitability, and unparalleled professionalism. For business owners and their teams, the Balloon Guild isn't just a resource, it's a game changer for growth and development. For me, it's been the ultimate shortcut in finally getting things out of my head and onto paper, so I'm not making things up on the fly, and so my team can work together to create consistent, fast decor. Visit their platform today at theballoonguild.com or by using the link in the show notes. New recipes and resources are released every month. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about what to do with these photos. So we've obviously talked about getting them up on your website, right? Like having them be seen when people land on your website. I'm assuming you're using them elsewhere, like on Instagram, or you mentioned having content for the quarter, and I love that idea. What's kind of your game plan with that? How do you make sure that you're using all of these photos?
So I, at the Tough Text experience, learned this. I'm gonna throw names there because I've learned everything from everybody. From Ellie from Charming Garlands. She said that in the grid, there's 9 squares. Every 9 squares should at least have your face once.
Oh, that's a great tip.
Because when people open it, they need to know who owns the company. If they're just seeing work and they don't know who owns the company, they don't know what's going on, right? So and then my photographer that I work with, Mariah, she specifically does quarterly shoots. So she's like, you get content for the rest like for that specifically for that quarter. Balloon Therapy does something similar where like Christmas is coming up. They'll do like Christmas content and shoot and whatnot. So the way I'll plan it out is now the upcoming quarter, there's Halloween coming up, there's Fall Fest, there's other things coming up. So I have a photo shoot already in mind that I'm going to do. What I can use, there's some pictures that are just headshots and other pictures that I can like specifically talk about a product, talk about other things. So there's so many different ways you can use that content. And sometimes when you don't have anything to post, you can just say, hi, June. I'm
Yeah,
ready
right.
for you, or something like that. Just like something very simple too. So there's people, you need to, I feel like showing your face is so important, and there's so many different ways you can do it. Most of the times, not everybody looks as glamorous as Ellie from Charming Garlands when she's doing installs, because I don't know how her pictures come out that's not that nice. But I look homeless. So I need pictures of myself that I can post with my work, and I don't look homeless in them.
Yeah.
So
And I'm
yeah,
scrolling through. You are doing a good job. I am seeing you every 9 squares. That's easy to schedule too. Like you could go into a scheduling app and just do that today. Like take all your photos and be like, okay, every other week on Monday, I'm going to post a picture of myself, and then I'm going to fill in the rest as I go or something like that. Do you schedule that all out? Do you use a planner?
I used to. I used to do it on Planoly, but I was really bad at it. And I'm very bad at, honestly, I do so much work and I barely post any of it. So now what's happening is just 2 months ago, I hired a social media manager, and she is streamlining everything. So she has all the old photos and she has the new photos, and she's kind of going back and forth, posting them and posting things. So everything is scheduled out. I know what's going to get posted this month as well as July, and then we'll have an hour to hour and a half meeting at the end of every month, planning out the content for the next month.
Oh,
Just
interesting.
so that so if there's, let's say, 4th of July coming up, I haven't made anything yet, but I know I have a couple of jobs lined up. We keep that empty. I'll just send her the content and she'll immediately upload that.
I'm putting you on the spot right here, but would you be willing to come back in a couple months to talk about how that process is going?
Yeah,
I think there's
absolutely.
a lot of people that want to take social media off their plate and they just like don't know how, right?
Mhm.
Like they're going to hire someone and be like, "Here's my pictures," but then that person doesn't even know like what to say about it, or it's the same like generic like, "Have you booked balloons for your next party?" Like, but I like that you're saying you're meeting with her, you're having like an actual strategy and planning months out. I think that would be really interesting to catch up and see how that's
I'll
going.
be, I'll be more than happy to,
Cool.
because so far it's going great. I've had 3 I again, this might just be a coincidence, but landing on the Event Collective page is like, okay, for me at least, it was just like, okay, you've hit the jackpot here, right? You've made
Yeah.
And I've been there 3 times now,
That's amazing.
since I've hired her. And I was like, okay, there she's doing something right. So she does, like this girl specifically does hashtag research for me. She will go and like will type out whatever the thing is. If there's something specific I want to say, I'll let her know. So there's specific instructions. And there definitely is a strategy session, just so it's not just here's the pictures, here's the videos, do whatever you want with it. There's a lot of intent behind what's being sent and what's being posted.
Yeah, and I think there has to be. I think that's really smart. So, oh, well, good. I can't wait to hear about that. And I think after you've been with her for a few months, you'll have even more to fill us in on. So we can do that. Um, let's wrap up. And I have a couple of fun questions to throw at you.
Mhm.
The first question is, where's your favorite place to go on vacation?
My favorite place to go on vacation, Europe. I love
Mhm.
Europe. Anywhere in Europe.
Yeah, very cool. Next one.
Mhm.
What's something you've bought, like a physical thing that you've bought in the last 6 months that you love? Like it could be off of Instagram, it could be something you picked up at the store. I just like shopping, so I always like hearing what people are liking right now.
The thing that I've bought that I absolutely love. Let's see. I love shopping. I buy things left and right. Like I'm a shopaholic. Um, miter saw, a miter saw
Miter saw. Wait, what are you using that for?
to cut the tablecloths. So you know how the table sheets are like round. You got buy them in like a rolled up bulk. The
Yeah.
plastic table sheets for the streamers. There's two ways you can cut it. You can either use a PVC pipe cutter for the skinny ones, or
And
you
you
can
cut
use
the whole roll?
yeah, you cut the miter saw just like this. You cut them in chunks instead of like stripping them and cutting them with scissors. It's
Oh my gosh,
faster.
like a jelly roll. Like you just cut the
Yes,
whole thing. Oh
like a
my gosh.
little you make like little ribbon rolls, right? Like just and then you go and make this size them out just the way you'll size out your strings, and then you make the streamers. It's so much more efficient.
But you still have to tie them on by hand, right?
Yes, you do, unfortunately.
I went through a phase where I was like, I'm gonna do streamers, and I tied one. I tied one piece, and I was like, nope, I'm out. I
I
can't
I
do this.
I delegate to my employees during slow time.
Okay.
But we've not had any slow time, so I've just been doing it myself
Oh my
lately.
gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, and then last question. What's one tip of business advice that you would give our listeners? It can be small or big.
I think my biggest advice would be just don't let anything hold you back. My business wouldn't be here if I let my fear of what people would say hold me back. I was very afraid, and one day I still remember I closed my eyes and I just hit send on a Facebook group just telling people I do balloons. And here I
Okay.
am today. So it's just every single time I've been afraid of doing something, I've just taken the leap of faith. I've done it, whether it was buying the van, which was very in the start of my business, best investment ever. If you're just sticking around, buy the van. Getting the studio or making any big purchase. It's just opened more and more doors for me. So I would say just trust in yourself and do whatever you want to do. Don't let doubt hold you back.
Oh, I love it. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was so nice chatting with you, and I'm holding you to it. We're going to have you back in a couple months.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. One last thing, if anybody wants to specifically get a step-by-step guide to how I do plan my branding shoots, I just published an article in the Balloon Business magazine, like literally telling the steps on how I plan.
Yes.
They're there, so they're more than welcome to like just go around and look at that too.
Oh, okay. We will link that. That's amazing. I can't wait to see.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was so nice.
Thanks for listening. As usual, I tried to keep it bright and light. Our presenting sponsor is 17 Hats, the CRM I use to cut the chaos and manage my entire balloon business. From the lead capture form on my website to workflows and email templates, invoicing and grab-and-go garland automated bookings, it's all powered by 17 Hats, the best customer relationship management system for balloon businesses. There's even a 50% off coupon code waiting for you in the show notes wherever you're listening. I'll see you next week in another episode.